Hello and welcome to Programming with Python. Before we start our today's session, here's an interesting question. Now most of us at some point of time would have used Ctrl F to look for a particular word in a web page or a PDF or a text document. But at any point of time, have you ever thought about how it actually works? Because think about it. Let's say you have a text document containing millions of words, and if you want to look up for a particular word, all you do is press Ctrl F and then type in the word, and within fraction of a second you get all the words that match that particular word. I mean, isn't that interesting? Because that happens within a fraction of a second and with millions of words in the document, right? So think through it, and I'll let you know the answer for sure as we learn more about Python. So let's jump into our today's session. So in our last session, we have discussed about data types and variables. So let's go further and learn more about data types. So we'll be looking at strings in this session. So if you want to store text in the form of a string, how do we store it? We'll name a variable and then assign the text within the double quotes, whatever the text that we want to store. Let's say good morning, right? So you store text in the form of string within the double quotes and then assign that text or string to a variable, right? This is how you store text. Now let's look at how it works in the memory, how the string is stored in the memory. So how it will be stored within the memory is every character, the size of every character is of a byte. So every single character in the string occupies a single byte of memory. So good, and then there is space, so the space also will be stored, and then the remaining characters, morning. INNG. So each character is of size 1 byte, and then all the characters in the string will be stored at consecutive places or in contiguous way. That is, so after G, the next character will be stored at the consecutive location. It will not be stored at someplace else within the memory. Now, why this is important is, let's say you want to access a particular character in the string. Let's say I want to access this I. We can do so with the help of a concept called indexing. Now, let's look at what is indexing. So, in indexing, what happens is that the first character will be assigned 0th location, and then the next character 1, the next character 2, and then it goes on till the end of that string. So this will be 8, this will be 9, this will be 10, and this will be 11. So now if I want to access this particular character, what I'll do is, let's say this string is stored in a variable A. So what I'll do is I'll write A, and within the brackets I'll give the index position of this particular character that I want to access. Now that position is, or the index is 9, so I'll write A of 9. So when I say A of 9, I'll get this specific character. Right? So this is called indexing. In indexing, what happens is you assign the first character to 0, and then it increases as it proceeds through the string. So now let's go to code editor. So let's do a simple thing, right? Let's just print whatever the text that we have stored in this variable. So we do that by using a function called as print. Now what is a function? function is nothing but a block of code that has some very specific task to be performed. We will learn more about function in further videos, but for now understand that function is nothing but a block of code that does some very specific task. Now in this case, the print function, what it does is it prints onto the screen whatever information is passed within the brackets. Now within the brackets, I have passed this variable a. So what this does is it prints the information contained in the variable onto the screen. Now let's just run it and let's see it. So if you see, it has printed good morning right on the screen, right? So that's what the print function does. Now let's say if I want to print some text directly without passing any variable. So if you observe this, it prints hello. So the print function basically it prints whatever the information is passed into that function. Right, now let's try to access a particular character using indexing. Let's say I want to access this character I. So the index position of that is 9. So if I were to print a of within the square brackets, I pass on the index position of the character that I want to access. In this case, it's 9. So let's just see. So if you observe, we got it as I, right? So that is how you access a particular character in the string. Now let's just comment these lines. So in Python, if you want to comment a particular line, what you have to do is type hash before the line, and the compiler completely ignores this line. It will not see this line as part of the code, right? So comments are essential because you can type descriptive name as to what the program does, right? All right. Now, some cases, what you want to do is convert all the characters present in the string into uppercase characters. So further, there is an inbuilt function called upper. So this function converts all the characters present in the string into uppercase characters and returns the string. So a dot upper. So when I say a dot upper, so the upper function converts all the characters in the string a into uppercase and then returns that. So now if I were to print it, we should be getting all the uppercase letters. So if you observe the output in the terminal, yes, we got all the uppercase letters. Now let's say I want to convert all the characters in the string into lowercase, right? So for that as well, there's an inbuilt function called lower. So when I say dot lower, it converts all the characters in the string into lowercase. So let's just print it. Let's save it and then run it. So if you observe here, all the characters have been converted into lowercase letters, right? Now, let's say if I want to find out how many characters are present in the string, right? Sometimes we do need the information of how many characters are present in the string, right? So to get that information, we use a function called len, followed by we pass on the particular variable or the particular string that we want to know the length about. So I'll pass on a, and if I were to print it, I should be getting the total number of the characters present in the string a. So if you observe, we got the output as 12, which means there are 12 characters present in this string. Yes, the white space will also be counted as a character, right? Next up, let's take another example. Let's take a string b and let's store hi, my name is John. Now, if you observe this string, at the start of the string and at the end of the string, there is an unusual amount of white spaces, isn't it? But if I were to remove it, right, so then I have to delete it, right? But what if there are a lot of white spaces, right? So in that case, you can use a function called as strip. So this strip function, what it does is it removes all the white spaces present in a string at the start and at the end, right? Only at the beginning and at the end, but not anywhere else, right? So if I were to print it, so let's run it. So if you observe, right? All right, so just to confirm, right, first let's print b and then let's just print b dot strip, right, so that it will be clear. And then let's comment out these above 2 lines. So run it. Now if you observe, right, there is white spaces in front of hi, and of course there are white spaces after John as well, but we can't see here. So now after using the strip function, just observe that the white spaces have been removed, right? So this is the use of the strip method. All right, now let's say I have 2 strings. So hi, my name is John and my age is, let's say I have in another string the age as 45. Now let's say if I want to join these 2 strings, so what I want in the output is I want to print hi, my name is John, my age is 45, all in a single line, which means basically I want to join these 2 strings, right? So in Python, how you concatenate or how you join the strings using the plus operator, right? So when I do b plus c, what happens is not the addition but the concatenation or the joining of the strings. So now if I were to print b plus c, so what happens is that hi, my name is John, and it will be printing my age is 45. So if you observe all in one line, that is these 2 strings have been joined or concatenated. Now let's say this c, instead of a string, let's say there is an int or integer or number. Now let's say I do b plus c and I'm expecting these both of them to be connected, then it's false. So if I do this, I'll get an error, right? So the error is because you can concatenate or you can join only strings, not a string with a number, right? So now convert this into a string and then you can join those 2 strings together, right? So this is a little bit of information on the strings and the methods that are extremely helpful while operating on strings. Now there are a lot of other methods, like let's say if you want to only check if all the characters present in a string are uppercase or lowercase, then you have got a function called isUpper. So this function, what it does is it checks if all the characters present in the string are uppercase, and if all the characters are uppercase, this returns true. If all the characters are not uppercase, then this returns false, right? And then if you want to check if the same goes with lower, isLower method checks if all the characters present in the string are lowercase characters or not, right? So yes, there are a lot of other methods. The information to all those methods you can search in Google, or I'll be providing a link in the description. You can just click on that link and then you will see all the methods that are available to operate on strings. And then let's look a bit further. Let's say I want to print the same variable b, but I want to print this John within the double quotes, right? So which means I want to print this. But this doesn't work because in Python, what happens is that whenever you see this double quote and another double quote, Python basically ends the string here, right? And then the next double quote is here, and then the next double quote is here, and then it sees this as one string, right? But that's not what I want. What I want is I want to print this John within this double quotes in the string. So how do I do that is you can use that. There is something called as backslash. Just use backslash followed by the double quote, and then to print another double quote, all you have to do is again use the backslash and then this double quote, right? So this backslash is called as escape character. That means whatever is printed after it will be escaped, right? Will be escaped from the Python compiler. Okay, so now if I were to print it, so you observe that John is being printed in the double quotes, right? So likewise, you can print other special characters as well using this backslash, right? So this is little information on strings, and like I have mentioned, there is a link where you can access it and then you can go through all the other methods. So that's all for today's session. Thank you.